You see, this is what happens when El Jefe is not here. This place turns into a third-rate stream, I tell you. Where is the two-person Chihuahua? There we go. Saludos por... I'm here with Papa Oso. Papa Oso, say hello. And we are Los Lobos we're here to talk about CMLL goodness from this past Viernes Espectacular. As always, saludos, primo. We got you in the comments there. And yeah, we are here to talk about the June 27th Viernes Espectacular. We had a little bit of fallout from Fantastica Mania. Some people stuck around in Mexico, which was nice to see. But Papa, also vamp for 1 second. I gotta go grab my notes. I completely forgot them in the other room.
You're all good. Hey, this was a great one. I loved one of the things I loved about this one is that. Sorry if y'all can hear my fan. It's hot in Texas. One of the great things that I liked about this is, especially at the beginning, is I saw some folks that I hadn't seen in a while. I was super excited to see them.
That's right.
But yeah, I thought this was pretty good. I really enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah, we're getting these hot takes out of the way. Low key, this might have been better than Fantastic Mania.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm low key there with you. I agree.
Definitely. But this Viernes Espectacular, we start off with the for one fall. On our technical side, we had Shocker, Helito, and Galaxy. And then on our Rudo side, we had Mercurio, who we've missed from our TV, Pequeroth, and Full Metal. I felt it was quite the treat to see again after this past week. Yeah. And again, Agent Lo-Fi, the minis went all out in this opener. You know, we saw, Galaxy on Angelito, you know that they are going to be just like flying all over the place. It was really fun seeing Mercurio back. He understands the assignment about being the Rudo. It was a lot of fun. We do get technical in this one. Papa also, what are your feelings?
Well, this was the beginning of the, oh, hey, where have you guys been? I haven't seen you guys in forever. Like Mercurio, Elito, Galaxy, and Full Metal. Those four guys. I haven't seen them this match was great. It was a great opener, I thought. I enjoyed it, but it was so great to just see some folks that I hadn't seen in forever. I was just like, you guys are so good. Why do we not get you?
Yep.
We're back to normal CMLL.
You're right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No, it was good though. Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. And again, Agent Lo-Fi, towards the end, some spots did kind of go a little bit crazy there, but in the end, we did get Arqueles pinning Full Metal and Shocker Seat submitting Mercurio for that Triunfo Técnico. Fun opener. Fun CMLL opener. Brings us to our next match, which was our Amazonas in Amazona. Best 2 out of 3 falls. On our Técnica side, we had Lluvia and Tabata, who is the first I've seen of her. Papa also, I'm sure it's the first you've seen her in the ring. But Agent Lo-Fi, just fact check us to if she's like new or if she's been like, yeah, she's newer. Okay, cool. But yeah, that's our Technica side. On our Ruda side, we had Darkseid and Hera. First fall went to the Rudas, where we had a little bit of miscommunication between the Technica and the Rudas, capitalized on that. The second fall, Hera pinned Tabita and Lluvia pinned Hera, and then Darkseid pins Lluvia, making this a Ruda 1-2, boom. And done. A lot of hard hits in this one. A lot, the Ruda, I should say, it was funny to see them like back off at the beginning of the match and like walk up the ramp and be like, we're done with this. I personally love it when the Rudos or the Rudas, when they do that type of, that type of shtick, that type of acting for the crowd. I just love that. Tabata and Hera had a really fun back and forth between the arm drags and the somersaults and all that. That was really well done. Again, Tabita and Hera, great chemistry between the two. They hit that Spanish fly to the outside of the ring. My back hurt seeing that happen. Lluvia, Dark Silhouette trading suplexes on the top of the ramp. Papa also, overall, this match, roulette.
I thought this was solid. Again, I haven't seen Dark Silhouette in for.
Yeah.
And I love her. I hate that I have forgotten her, but yeah, I love her. And Hera, I haven't seen Hera in a while either.
Yep.
Tabata, I'm not familiar with. Lluvia, of course I am, but it was so nice to see Dark Silhouette and Hera back in the ring.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's been a while. I don't even remember the last time we saw the two of them. I mean, Hera probably more recently than Dark Silhouette, I believe. But this was a pretty solid match. Of course, it's the Amazonas. Of course it is.
Yeah, I felt like this was a return to form for the Amazonas, because every hit that was delivered, you felt it through the TV.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those textbook Amazon matches that I'm like, you want to see women's wrestling? Here you go. Boom. But yeah, at the end, Dark Silhouette challenges Julia for her CMLL Japanese Championship belt, which I didn't even realize Julia had picked up. Whoopsie poopsie. But that'll feed to something that we talk about later on in the match. But it does go to the in this match. Next up, speaking of international, we had our for the night where we saw Francesco versus Estar Jr. And yeah, they're gonna have to step it up. Yeah. I don't know if you saw, but on social media, Zooksies went and had, I believe it was like a knee surgery, ACL fixing or something like that. But yeah, she was, good wishes, Zooksies. Take your time, healing to get back. We love you, we miss you, but we are very excited to see you back when you get back. So yep. So Francesco Akira, I'm not going to do the shtick again, versus Estar Jr. I thought this was very, very gripping to the very last second. Not sure if that was I'm not sure if that was a miscue between Estar Jr. and Francesco Akira, or if the ref almost, buffed the count. But at the end there, it felt like instead of being at the very last second, the pin should have happened at the 2-second mark. What'd you think?
Yeah, I agree. I was watching it and I was like, whoa, you literally down to the last microsecond. I was like, that it did. It felt like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Because
Right.
you could almost see it on the wrestlers' faces too. Because there was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
moment where Francesco Akira, I mean, his eyes got a little wide. I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
But it was
yeah.
good. It was a great match.
Oh, yeah, no,
Oh
it
my
was
gosh, it was great.
fantastic. I mean, Star Junior, we know his work, we see his
Mhm.
work here. Francesco Akira, I'm very familiar with him. He was in that A block of the NJPW Super Juniors, Best of the Super Juniors, and yeah, facts. The match I expected these two to have, professional as are we deep enough in? Yep, professional as fuck. And I would not mind seeing this done again in a part two. And maybe like a non-match where the ref has to be like to get the pinfall. But yeah, Francesco Akira gets the win in this match, which brings us to our Relevo Atomico, best 2 out of 3 falls, where we see La Familia, Depredador Jr., Rocky Romero, or I should say El Papa, Rocky Romero, El Volador Jr., The Primos, Magnus, Rugido versus the technical team, Máscara Dorada, 2/3 of Sky Team, and Flip Gordon. And yet again, mi gente, put the kids to bed because it's sexy time. It's Rocky Romero's tip of the shirt for me.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, this
Yep,
was a
it
lot of
was.
fun. This match was a lot of fun. Let me break it down real quick. Our first pinfall went to the technical pins, and Flip Gordon pins Rocky Romero. And then the third pinfall goes to the technicals, where Sky Team pins Volador Jr. and Magnus. And yeah, like this was a lot of fun. A lot of things that we expect to see, especially from, Mascara Dorada and Neon. There was one Tijera that Neon hit where he jumped over the ring post and like hit it on Magnus to the outside of the ring. I was just like, damn. When I thought I was impressed, you impressed me more, Neon. I was floored. I also love that synchronized where Mascara Dorada, he'll start on the ramp, he'll run, jump to the one rope, jump over to the other rope, and then when he launches for his moonsault, Dorada is perched on the top of the post, and he launches for his 450 to the outside of the ring. It was a lot of fun, and I hope that they keep this whole Familia thing going for as long as they can, because yeah, I love it. What do you think, Papa? Also,
Oh, I freaking loved it. I love, Volador Jr. and Rocky Romero and Magnus. I love all of these guys. I could watch these 8 men fight each other every day, because every time they fight, it's different, but it's the same.
yes,
And I
yeah,
love that. I
yeah.
love that it's like, I know what I'm getting, but I also don't know what I'm gonna get. And I have to say that Volador Jr. needs to keep those braids in his hair, because dang, all he needs now is to bring the facial hair back, and he is a hot daddy.
Right. Well, I think I have a feeling the facial hair is coming back because International Week is done. He was kind of a technical during International Week. So now that that's done, he can go, mirror universe. So yeah, Agent Lo-Fi, I hope they keep running the 4v4 local matches. Yep. Yep. This is definitely, like we've discussed before, this is definitely that lucha chaos that we really enjoy. And especially these 8 luchadors, they know how to entertain. So, but Triunfo, do you like what you're seeing and you like the wrestling? Then please join us we are the Pyconics. We are on the interwebs. You can find us on all the social medias. We are at BC WrestlePod on Instagram, Threads, YouTube, Twitch, Blue Sky. You're probably watching us on one of these platforms. And if you are, thank you so much. Drop a hello in the comments, and do all that stuff. Thumbs up, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. We do have merch over at bcwrestlepodspring.fourthwall.com. We have merch for all of our shows. We also have 3 specials. The first one is our Hot Boy Summer shirt. Our second one is our People vs. La Migra shirt, which y'all probably saw the back when I was running, but this is what the shirt looks like. Proceeds of this line goes to the support of immigrant youths in Southern California that are going through it right now. And then the other line that we currently have is our Wrestling with Pride line, and that goes to support trans people and support for, I believe it's support for the surgeries for the surgeries. Well, it goes to support our trans peeps out there. So yeah, and if you really like us and you want to support us even further, please consider joining our Patreon, BC WrestlePod. We have a lot of backstage content and whatnot over there for you to check out. Speaking of checking out, what do we got coming up for the rest of the week over on the Biconics Beep Bop Boop podcast? Well, I'll tell you what. Tomorrow, the 3rd July, we have the Progress Wrestling Far From Ordinary People review. That is 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On the 4th of July, we might at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I say that because when I said that earlier, Will was like, was he? But on Sunday, July 6th, we have our WWE review, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This brings us to our semifinal match of the night. This was for the NJPW Strong tag team belts. We had our champs, the United Empire of Templario and TJP, versus our challengers of Angel de Oro and Roja, the Hermanos Chavez. This was my match of the night. I'm just going to put it out there. I thought it was great. I mean, like Hermanos Chavez versus TJP and Templario and United Empire. I mean, we have seen iterations of Templario versus like Angel Roja. We've seen them in Australiano matches, but like this one hit differently. I thought they worked really well together. I am so impressed with how well Templario and TJP from the United Empire will work. I loved TJP's face makeup, by the way. Apparently, it's a shout out to his Filipino heritage. And he was channeling like a Filipino demon in it, or some sort of Filipino cryptid or what have you. He had the cool like red contacts in. He sprayed like red mist that our favorite ref, Guero Noriega, had to call him on. Fantastic match. The United Empire does end up retaining. Papaoso, what'd you think?
I love this match. This was my match of the night too. This was like a nail biter. Like,
yes,
I was like, I don't know who's winning this.
Yeah,
I was like,
it was.
And I love how Templario and TJP work together.
Yes.
Like I'm not 100% familiar with TJP, so I don't know much about them, but the two of them work so well together. I was just like, wow, so good.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat with you. Because I'm still relatively new to the NJPW scene. I'm still new to TJP. As far as I know, well, Templario was brought into the United Empire, very relatively recently, and the team up with him and TJP, I feel, is a very, very new thing, which impresses me even more. That they work so well together for being together for such a short amount of time. Yeah, gotta give our flowers to the Hermanos Chavez. They did the thing, those near falls, totally the Hermano Chavez specials. We saw them hit their signature move, which I can't even remember the name of, and I had it written down earlier, and it was riveting. And yeah, I that would explain it. If you watch a lot of the Hermano Chavez matches, you probably get those cues. But still fantastic match of the night. Both these teams, great work, great workers. Love to see it. United Empire retains their belt. And this brings us to our final match of the night, which saw Místico versus Bandido, which was set up from Fantastica Mania. This was, I felt, until the very end, this was a very standard Viernes Espectacular finale. Not saying it was bad. It was good. And Bandido definitely showed off what they could do. It was very entertaining. At the end, Bandido takes the mic, and I feel this is what kind of took the match up to the next level, because Bandido, I felt he got very emotional. Yeah. This one, because it hit you in the feels. Bandido got very emotional. How he worked and he looked up to Místico, and his dream came true. He got to wrestle against Místico, through his hard work and determination. Bandido, pulled. Oh, Místico ends up winning, by the way, hitting the Mística on Bandido. But the great work, both of them in the ring. I would not mind seeing them run this back for part 2, part 3. I know that Místico was motioning for a chance at the ROH TV title, so see what happens. Papa, also, what'd you think?
I thought it was, and I had I had not unfortunately, but I had to have the English subtitles on because, I wanted to hear because I watched it in just the Spanish, and then I was like, "Oh, I really need to go back and see what they were saying," because I could feel it,
Yep.
but I wanted to understand it. So, it was really nice. I found myself getting a little teary-eyed.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was just like, wow, it's just the personal connections these wrestlers have to what they do,
Yeah.
and it was like, it
Yep.
was kind of the same here. And as he was speaking, I was getting misty eyed. I was
Yep.
like, man, I just love that. And I think, it's so funny is that I kind of wish we had more of that in sort of American style wrestling. That idea of being connected to the culture of wrestling. You do have those every once in a while. You'll have those sort of folks that are like, I've been doing this for like 40 years and I've seen it, this, that, and the other. But here it's just, there's something so much more organic about it.
Yes. There's, that's awesome for them. We're not going to hate on them for that, because, it's the business. There's that trade off. I don't feel like you'll get that type of connection at other companies than you do here, or you'll be able to express that type of emotion with that type of, connection. Cause Bandido definitely showed it. And he's going to be showing it in his string of indie shows that Agent Lo-Fi pointed out. Místico always seems to show it whenever he comes out, Buenas noches, yeah, and you're right. There is something really organic about it. There's something really real about it that you don't get, I feel, a lot on American shows. So, but that ended the night. That was last Friday. Well, let me tell you what we got coming up. I'm super excited about this. So in our opener, we have Blue Shark, El Vieja, and Nuelo versus Troglodita and Troyano. Sorry if I stumbled over those names. It's that whole Puerto Rican Spanish, Mexican Spanish thing going on there. And next match, we had Stigma and Reo Metálico versus Calavera Jr. and Calavera Jr. Segundo. That's going to be a very fun match, just because we'll be there. Yeah. Next match, we have Dragon Rojo Jr., Dragon Mario, and Dragon de Fuego versus El Tuca Jr. back on our Viernes Spec for that CMLL, for the CMLL Women's Japanese title. We do have Juvia facing off against Dark Silo. We have Mario versus the Beast Mortos. Craig Mortos, Attorney at Law, Roar, Grumble, Roar. And he's going to be teaming up with Averno and Ultimo Guerrero. I mean, that is just like, that is a Rudo team if I've ever seen one. I'm so hyped for it. So excited for that. Yeah, and it is a stacked Friday. I'm stoked for Beast Mortos. I'm excited for it. So, moving on to last. So, this is the noticias for this week. As we had talked about earlier, Zoxis was injured. She did get, again, I believe it was a knee surgery. I think it was an ACL or something like that. So, she's going to be out for a little bit. So, we wish her well again and, a speedy recovery. But so Zoxis is going to be out. That means Las Infernales. Hopefully, they won't have to give up their titles, but we'll see what happens. This past week, we also had Global Wars, the ROH CMLL show from Mexico. This had some great matches. I unfortunately did not watch it. Faye did give a whole breakdown of it. I feel that I'm not going to go through the breakdown, unfortunately, because I didn't get to watch it, but I will read the finals for it. So our first match was Athena and Red Velvet versus Thunder Rosa and Persephone. I'm going to have to go back and watch this one. Thunder Rosa and Persephone end up with the win in this one. I'm interested to see how Thunder Rosa and Persephone worked together. Like I said, I'm going to have to go back and watch this one. Kind of a replay from the Best of the Super Juniors. We had Nick Wayne versus Titan this was the proving ground match for Nick Wayne's ROH title. So if Titan could go the distance with Nick Wayne, or if Titan pinned Nick Wayne, then he would get a future chance at Nick Wayne's ROH TV champ title. And they went to the time limit draw. So that means that Titan will be getting a future shot at the ROH TV title. Looks like uninformed, they are announcing the dates for the Grand Prix. We love the Grand Prix. Excited. And our first anniversario match is Felino versus Rey Bocanerio. Hello. Very interesting. All right. That's going to be fun. That'll be a first for us. We haven't seen hair versus hair yet. So just kind of cue everyone in Lucha Libre. There is the more popular Máscara contra Máscara, where wrestlers will put up their masks on the line, and whoever loses has to take their mask off and can never wear their mask again. But for unmasked wrestlers, there's a version for that, pelo contra pelo, and basically that is hair versus hair. So the loser has to shave all their hair off their heads. So that's gonna be a lot of fun to see. Agent Lo-Fi for keeping us updated on that. Going back to the Global Wars, we had Lee Moriarty versus a Blue Panther in another non-title match. Just making sure that it wasn't for no. Okay, so Lee Moriarty, your ROH Pure Champ versus Blue Panther. Blue Panther gets the win by submission. I want to go back and rewatch that. That's awesome. And of note, at the end, Shane Taylor Promotions, who Lee Moriarty is aligned with in ROH, they came out to attack Blue Panther for some good old elder abuse. Bryan Danielson comes out and makes the save with Hologram and Máscara Dorada, and that's setting up a Lee Moriarty versus Blue Panther Part 2 for the ROH Pure Championship title. Yeah, I am definitely, I put a pin in this. I'm going to come back and I'm going to watch it probably tomorrow because, yeah, I'm very interested to see Lee Moriarty and Blue Panther. Even more so, I want to see if Blue Panther can actually win the ROH Pure title. I think that would be fantastic. But that's that. So, yep, there it is. So that's going to be on the Super Card of Honor for the ROH Pure Championship. And then this brings us to MLW Summer of the Beast, where we saw some CMLL action. Again, I'm going to try to get through this kind of sort of fast. We did see the Los Deathbangers El Rugido. They faced off against the Skyscrapers, Donovan Dijak and Bishop Dyer, where the Skyscrapers do end up beating Los for the MLW Tag Team Championships. So Donovan Dijak and Bishop Dyer, of course, with Saint Laurent, they are your new MLW Tag Team Champions. Kind of made sense, unfortunately, because Donovan Dijak and Bishop Dyer, I feel, are just like freelancing it. Still sad that they lost, but it was a good match. It was actually a really good match. We did watch it in the watch along. Mystico, he came out to say some words, but ends up getting ambushed by who we think is a Contra unit. But at the very end, the last person that comes out to sneak attack Mystico was Michael Jacob Freeman, MJF. He says that he is going to embarrass Mystico and Mexico, teasing a huge crossover with AEW and CMLL with Mystico and MJF. I don't know where I'm sitting with this yet, and I'm a week removed from Summer of the Beast, but I still don't know, because it's the match from Grand Slam Mexico City where we saw MJF and Mystico go face each other. Not that it was a bad match. As we had talked about before, I felt like Mystico had to put on the weighted training gear and like downshift so that MJF could keep up with him. I don't know. I mean, really quick, what do you think, Papa Oso? Like, are you interested to see more of the like MJF Mystico rivalry? What do you think?
I think I've said it before on other brands. that, yeah, I'm all for like rivalries and grudges and vendettas and as long as it's something different, it's like, don't give me, I mean, and this is not me, I'm new to the lucha, so maybe this is a standard. Do I want to see more lucha fighting? Absolutely. Do I want to see a lot of I mean, I don't know. This is the other thing, and I'll put this right up front. I don't know about the rivalry because again, I don't have a true context of it, I guess. I mean, is
Sure.
it a newer rivalry? Is it an older rivalry? I mean, I guess I don't really know the timeline of it.
It is a relatively newer rivalry. We have seen MJF in Arena Mexico before. He faced Templario, but this facing off against me is newer. I believe Agent Lo-Fi hit it on the head, and I think we talked about it in the live stream when we watched Summer of the Beast as well. We feel like this is gearing up to go to the Aniversario show where we'll probably have
Okay.
MJF Mystico main event. Makes sense. MJF is one of the big AEW names. And of course, Mystico. And I believe it was Angel Lo-Fi that pointed out they want to wash the taste out of their mouth of that Mystico Lionheart
Oh,
match.
yeah.
What's his
Oh my god, why is this
Chris
name?
Jericho.
Yeah,
Chris
there you
Jericho.
go. I think it's because y'all have, like, oh god, I think I've just sort of forgotten about it.
Yeah, that's how bad that match was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, as Agent Lo-Fi pointed out, MJF does have history with Major League Wrestling, so AEW probably gave him the thank you for that. I needed that. Oh yeah, because that's the best reaction to that match. Just try to like burn it out of your skull. Yeah. So moving on with Summer of the Beast, we had Ultimo Guerrero versus Alex Hammerstone. Ultimo Guerrero does end up retaining his belt in the match, though it ends up turning into a fatal three-way because we do get Matthew Justice coming in, staking claim to the belt as well, because he never got a rematch. And our Cesar Duran comes out. He let the crowd decide if it was going to be a fatal three-way. The crowd wanted it, so he gave it to him. Ultimo Guerrero does end up retaining. Little shenanigans between Matthew Justice and Alex Hammerstone, but it was a good match. It was a fun match. So that was that. We got the Opera Cup. The MLW Opera Cup coming up, where we have CMLL talent showing out. Mystico versus Akira Kwan, another one that's gunning for Mystico and Mystico's mask. Akira Kwan also in there. We have Okamura, Volador Jr. versus Titan, Blue Panther Jr. versus Zandakan Jr. That'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, so that's the MLW. But something else that was announced on the Viernes Espectacular was that the Plata winner, and that's the show for tonight. Last 4 winners and 4 new. Okay, there we go. So yeah, so that's the setup for the Leyenda de Plata. But yeah, I'm excited for this upcoming week. Papa, also, do you have any final thoughts?
No, it was good as always. I enjoy CMLL. I love it. Just keep watching. And if you haven't watched Lucha Libre and you're watching this,
You should watch
it
it.
is so good.
And hopefully one day we'll make it down there. But yeah, so next week, Hefe will be back with us. He is out watching some live wrestling. So, so that's that. And yeah, everyone, thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. Please remember, you're biconic. I'm biconic. We're all biconic. You deserve to finish your own story. And it's time for us to get out of here.
Let's get out of here. Johnny TV style. Sebastian! Right in the shot, you bald idiot! You fool! The other way, go!
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.